Hi everyone, welcome back to Wilde Reads. My name is Dave. Welcome back to the second part of my January book haul. Roll the titles. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the second part of the January book haul. Once again, I say this every time I do a book haul, but once again, I've rather overdone it on the books. There is a whole stack full here, so enough. I'm not going to waffle. I'm just going to get straight on with the books. The first book up on my January book haul is, I've forgotten the title. It's The To-Do List by Mike Gale. If you're not familiar with Mike Gale is what I call a lad-lit author. So you get your chick-lit authors. Mike Gale's a lad-lit author. I love the work of Mike Gale. I've read quite a few of his, the best being Turning 30 and Turning 40. And I read them when I turned 30 and then when I turned 40. Brilliant books. Looking forward to reading this one. The next book is a little one here called The Princess Bride, and this is by William Goldman. These are all charity shop or second-hand finds at the moment. I've got a couple of publisher books that I've been sent, and I've got a few new books as well, but these, until I say otherwise, these are all second-hand finds. So The Princess Bride by William Goldman. This is an old book. This is first published in 1973, so very nearly as old as me. The Princess Bride is a cult book which later became a cult film. This hasn't made its way into my mind yet because I've never heard of this. Oh, have I? Have I heard of The Princess Bride? I don't think I have. Anyway, it tells the story of Buttercup, the most beautiful girl in the world, and of fencing, fighting, torture, poison, true love, hate, revenge, plants, giants, hunters, bad men, good men, beautifulest ladies, snakes, spiders, beasts, chases, escapes, lies, truth, passion, and miracles. Wow. So there's not a lot, actually, that book doesn't contain. And being a cult book, there should be a few of you that have read that. So The Princess Bride by William Goldman. The next book up on the list is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I've seen this time and time again, and the covers always intrigued me. My name is August. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking, it's probably worse. That blurb is ambiguous enough to pique my interest. So I look forward to reading that. No doubt a lot of you have read this one as well, so please let me know. Next up, I've got a couple of non-fictions. I've got Homo Deus and Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. A couple of really well recommended non-fiction books. I can't remember, I do apologise, but I know someone on BookTube recommended these to me and I can't remember who it was. It was a few months ago now. So thank you for recommending them. I have gone and bought them. These are new. I bought these new. Will I save them for non-fiction November? Probably not. I'll probably get to them before that, but there you go. So they're new. Another new book is, of course, Three Things About Elsie by the wonderful Joe Cannon. Really, really looking forward to reading this. This might be actually my next. This cover is so gorgeous. Who can't resist a bit of Battenberg? Beautiful book. Loved Trouble with Goats and Sheep. This one, I've heard so many good things already about this, and it hasn't been out long. Another new book that was heavily recommended, and I've seen this crop up. I'll show you what the book is first. This is English Animals by Laura Kay. I've seen this crop up on Lauren from Lauren and the Books, included it in her best books of 2017. I've seen Mercedes recently include this on her best books. I know Simon's read this. I think Jen Campbell's read this. I've seen this book crop up so much and it sounds absolutely wonderful. When Merker gets a job in a country house in rural England, she has no idea of the struggles she faces to make sense of a very English couple. Richard and Sophie are chaotic, drunken, frequently outrageous, but also warm, generous and kind to Merker. Swiftly commandeered by Richard for his latest money-making enterprise, taxidermy, Merker soon surpasses him in skill. After a traumatic break 2 years ago with her family in Slovakia, she finds to her surprise that she is happy at Fairmount Hall. But when she feels herself falling for Sophie, everything she values is put in danger and she must learn the hard way what she really believes in. So again, you'll know by now, I love a book featuring a large English country stately house I don't know if it's a stately house, but it's a large country house, so really looking forward to that one. The next one here is Carol Shields, and this is Unless. Again, very lazy of me, very remiss. I've still got the sticker. This cost me £2. This was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2003, and also shortlisted for the Orange Prize for Fiction, which is now the Women's Prize for Fiction. Previously, the Baileys, oh my god, that prize has had so many sponsors. Rita Winters has a loving family, good friends and growing success as a writer of light fiction. Then her eldest daughter suddenly withdraws from the world, abandoning university to sit on a street corner wearing a sign that reads only goodness. As Rita seeks the causes of her daughter's retreat, her inquiry turns into unflinching, often very funny meditation on society and where we find meaning and hope. It's a couple of Philip Kerr hardbacks. Now, again, look at the stickers. I still haven't unstickered these. Dave, come on. Should do this before filming. Anyway, so a couple of Philip Kerr hardbacks. Now, again, I've never read Philip Kerr before, but when you see nearly new hardbacks going for £1.50 each, I just can't resist. I'm just weak. I'm very weak. So again, I think this is a book of a recurring character, Bernie Gunther, who's a detective, I take it. But they've got some very, very good write-ups. So Philip Kerr, a couple of Philip Kerrs there. The next one is a book that seemed really, really interesting. This is The Comet Seekers by Helen Sedgwick. Helen Sedgwick has written a first novel of remarkable grace, beauty and insight, in which a careful love of language meets an immense storytelling talent. Rosin and Francois first meet in the snowy white expanse of Antarctica and everything changes. While Rosin grew up in a tiny village in Ireland, ablaze with a passion for science and the skies and for all there is to discover about the world, Francois was raised by his beautiful young mother, who dreamt of new worlds but was unable to turn her back on her past. As we loop through their lives, glimpsing each of them only when a comet is visible in the skies above, we see how their paths cross as they come closer and closer to this moment. Theirs are stories filled with love, hope and heartbreak. They show how strangers can be connected and ghosts can be real, and the world can be as lonely or as beautiful as the comets themselves. That really intrigued me when I saw it in the shop. So that's The Comet Seekers by Helen Sedgwick. The next is a book, I only come across this yesterday. This is The Gargoyle in this, really, look at that. The Gargoyle, published by Canongate, and this is by Andrew Davidson. Love, it says on the front, love is as strong as death and hard as hell. A young man is fighting for his life. Into his room walks a bewitching woman who believes she can save him. Their journey will have you believing in the impossible. The next one is a book that I've read before. I read this years and years and years ago. Martin Amis, London Fields. I've got a hardback copy of it and it's a signed first edition hardback. So I don't really want to, I've always planned to reread this book, but when I come to reread it, I don't really want to reread the signed first edition. So I bought as like a working copy, just, you know, an everyday reading copy, a London Fields, Martin Amis. The next book is a little hardback historical book by Juliet Gardner, who is absolutely fantastic. She wrote a brilliant book called Wartime, which is a social history of Britain in between the war years, so 1939 to 1945. It was fantastic. She followed that up with a really big chunky book called The 30s, which was brilliant. The 30s were a fascinating decade, and she documented it so well. She's such a good writer and she's so well researched. So I thought I'd buy this, The Blitz, The British Under Attack by Juliet Gardner. So really looking forward to reading that. The next book I have is Ace King Knave by Maria McCann. I've never heard of this before, never heard of the author, but it's published by Faber, so there's a good chance it could be decent. Betsy Ann is a gambler and a dealer in gin. I'm liking this book already. And stolen goods, living with a grave robber in cramped London rooms. Sophia is a shy and demure heiress living in Bath and recently married to the charismatic Edmund. But neither of their men are what they seem. As the two women attempt to uncover the truth, their lives are drawn together in a riveting story of deception, trickery and gambles of many kinds. That seems interesting. Ace King Knave by Maria McCann. I'm just going to whip through a couple of paperbacks here, because if I read the blurb out on every one, we'll be here all night. So Esther Freud, Lucky Break, that was second hand. When God Was a Rabbit, Sarah Winman. After reading Tin Man last year, I have her other two now. I've got this one and I've got A Year of Marvellous Ways to read. Mr. Pip by Lloyd Jones. This was shortlisted for the 2007 Man Booker Prize, Mr. Pip. And this one, Vernon God Little by DBC Pierre, which I've seen and it looks fascinating, so I've got that as well. So we've got Night Windows here by Jonathan Smith. I was going to say Jonathan Swift, but it's not Jonathan Swift, it's Jonathan Smith. So this one as well, Night Windows, which looks and sounds fascinating. Then we've got, I didn't know whether to buy this or not, this is Jojo Moyes, which I've never read. And I didn't know whether she was a... And I don't like using this term because I don't think there is such a thing as women's books or men's books, or because I think you should be able to read what you want. But I've always had in the back of my mind that she is predominantly a woman's writer. But it seemed really good, and I know she's immensely popular. So she must be immensely popular for a very good reason, and that's she's a good writer. Hopefully. But anyway, so I thought I'd give that a go, and it was £1.50, so excellent. The other one I've got is Peggy Riley, Amity and Sorrow, Not Everyone Wants to Be Saved. That seems really, really good. Then we've got, I didn't know whether to buy this or not, this is Jojo Moyes, which I've never read, and I didn't know whether she was a... And I don't like using this term because I don't think there is such a thing as women's books or men's books, or because I think you should be able to read what you want. But I've always had in the back of my mind that she is predominantly a woman's writer. But it seemed really good, and I know she's immensely popular. So she must be immensely popular for a very good reason, and that's she's a good writer, hopefully. But anyway, so I thought I'd give that a go, and it was £1.50, so... The other one I've got is Peggy Riley, Amity and Sorrow, Not Everyone Wants to Be Saved. That seems really, really good. Right, just a couple of new books. This one I've read already and it was utterly fantastic, so look out for it on my wrap-up. This is The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor. It is, in a word, phenomenal. You should all go and buy this book. It is utterly fantastic. I'll tell you more about it in the wrap-up, which I don't mean as a teaser. It's not clickbait. This book is brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's everything. It's creepy. There's a massive twist at the end, which I didn't see coming. It's just quite simply a very, very brilliant book. The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor, which is out now. Then a couple of books that were very kindly sent to me by Two Roads Publishing, Two Roads Books. And this is Two Steps for... These are proof copies. A Story of Midlife and Second Chances. And the press release here says... A Story of Midlife and Second Chances from Graham Simpson, author of worldwide bestseller The Rosie Project and Wife Anne Boost. Yes, it seems very, very good. And this is a book that's due out next month, I think. The Seal Woman's Gift, a debut novel from Sally Magnuson, published by Two Roads on the 8th of February 2018, set in Iceland and Algiers in the 17th century. The Seal Woman's Gift reimagines the true story of a pirate raid on one of the tiny western islands, in which a pastor, his wife and their children, along with half their island and many others, were abducted into slavery. Captive in an alien Arab culture, the pastor's wife meets the unravelling of her identity and the least bearable of losses with the one thing she has brought from home, the stories in her head. It seems like a really fascinating read, that one. That's The Seal Woman's Gift by Sally Magnuson. And that is out. There's a brilliant quote actually from Sarah Perry, who obviously wrote The Essex Serpent. And she says, a remarkable feat of imagination. And coming from Sarah Perry, that must be quite something. So this is out on the 8th of February. Thank you very much for Two Roads for sending me those. What am I reading at the moment? I'm reading the new book by Layla Slimani. Vicky's just walked in. Vicky's now on Twitter. as well. So check Vicky out on Twitter. I'll put a link in the description box down below. If anyone wants to talk to Vicky, which I'm sure you do, because a lot of you find her far more entertaining than me. So I'm reading at the moment Lullaby, which is a new read, which is brilliant. I'm really enjoying this book, even though I had a massive book hangover after finishing The Chalk Man. I couldn't pick anything up for a few days, so this brought me out of my hangover. It's a brilliant read. This is brand new out from Faber. It's only been out a week or so, a couple of weeks, by Leila Slimani. It's fantastic. This is translated from the French. This won the Prix Goncourt in France, which is France's premier literary award. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if I rushed through a load of those, but if I'd have read the blurb on every one, we would have been here for an hour. And I'm sure none of us want that, because we've all got things to do. This is going out on a Wednesday. I will be back on Sunday with another BookTube video. Until then, I hope everyone is well and staying healthy in 2018 so far, because it's only January. So until I see you again on Sunday, whatever you're doing this week, enjoy your books, and I'll see you back here on Sunday for another BookTube video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.